students, today we are going to study pharmacology of antimuscarinics, also called as anticholinergic drugs, and this is covered in the video on antiasthmatic drugs part 3. Now, antimuscarinics are a class of antiasthmatic drugs. Antimuscarinics are bronchodilators. Now, look at this diagram of the airway in asthma, and this diagram shows structure. This is the structure of the wall of the respiratory tube, for example, a bronchial tube. Now, innermost lining is called as mucosa, and this mucosa is made up of ciliated columnar epithelial cells, shown here in the red color. Now, in between the columnar cells are present goblet cells, shown here in the black color, which produce mucus. Mucus is shown here in the green color. In the center is the lumen, that is the respiratory passage or the airway for the passage of air. Outermost layer is called as adventitia, and below the adventitia is a layer of smooth muscle cells. Now, in these smooth muscle cells are located muscarinic M3 receptors. Now, in asthma, bronchoconstriction causes narrowing of the airway lumen, and narrowing of the airway lumen leads to difficulty in breathing. Now, stimulation of these M3 muscarinic receptors by acetylcholine causes bronchoconstriction, causes narrowing of the airway lumen, and this results in difficulty in breathing. That is the primary symptom of asthma. Now, antimuscarinics are reversible competitive inhibitors of M1, M2 and M3 muscarinic receptors. Now, acetylcholine induces bronchoconstriction by stimulating muscarinic M3 receptors located on the airway. Now, anticholinergics or antimuscarinics compete with acetylcholine for the muscarinic M3 receptors. They bind to M3 receptors and they induce bronchodilation by blocking the action of acetylcholine on these receptors. So, they induce bronchodilation by blocking M3 receptors located on airway smooth muscles. Now, it's very important to note that the antimuscarinic primarily induce dilation of trachea and bronchi. That is, primarily they induce dilation of larger airways. Now, these drugs provide symptomatic relief by inducing bronchodilation. Now, coming to the classification of antimuscarinic or anticholinergic agents. Antimuscarinics are classified on the basis of duration of action. They are classified as short-acting antimuscarinic agents, that is the SAMAs, and long-acting antimuscarinic agents, that is the LAMAs. Now, let's first talk about the short-acting muscarinic agents, that is SAMAs. The most important drug under this category is the ipratropium bromide. Ipratropium bromide is a short-acting inhaled anticholinergic bronchodilator, and it provides bronchodilatory effect within 15 to 30 minutes, and the duration of action is for 3 to 5 hours. Now, important to note that inhaled anticholinergics are less efficacious compared to inhaled beta-2 agonist in asthma, and therefore they are not used as primary bronchodilators. Now, ipratropium is not used as a monotherapy. It is used as an adjuvant therapy, and it is added to inhaled corticosteroids, or it is added to a combination of inhaled corticosteroids and short-acting beta-2 agonist in the treatment of acute and chronic asthma. Next are the long-acting antimuscarinic agents or LAMAs. The most widely used drug is the tiotropium bromide. Tiotropium bromide is a long-acting inhaled anticholinergic bronchodilator. It produces bronchodilation within 30 minutes and its duration of action is for 24 hours. It is also not used as a monotherapy. It is also used as an add-on therapy and added either to inhaled corticosteroids, or it is added to a combination of inhaled corticosteroids and long-acting beta-2 agonist in controlling moderate to severe asthma. Now, it's very important to understand that the inhaled anticholinergics are delivered directly to the lungs, so smaller doses are required and it produces less side effects, and inhalers or inhaled therapy is safe for the long-term use compared to the oral therapy. Now let's understand the bronchodilatory mechanism of action of antimuscarinics or anticholinergics. Look at this diagram. This diagram explains the mechanism by which bronchoconstriction, primarily in the bronchioles, is induced by acetylcholine. Now acetylcholine is shown here in the red color. Now these M3 receptor, M3 muscarinic receptor is a member of G protein coupled receptor family, and it is composed of 7 transmembrane. Now acetylcholine binds to muscarinic M3 receptor, and activated alpha subunit of GQ protein dissociates from beta and gamma, and further it activates phospholipase C, which breaks phosphoinositol bisphosphate, that is PIP2, to inositol triphosphate, that is IP3, and diacylglycerol. Now this IP3 it interacts with IP3 receptors, that is the inositol triphosphate receptors located on the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, and induce release of calcium into the cytosol. Now this released calcium binds to calmodulin that results in the formation of calcium calmodulin complex, and this complex activates myosin light chain kinase. Now myosin light chain kinase phosphorylates myosin that facilitates the interaction of myosin and actin, which induces muscle contraction or bronchoconstriction. Now in addition to this diacylglycerol, it activates protein kinase C. Now this protein kinase C phosphorylates calponin. Calponin has been implicated in the contraction of bronchial smooth muscles. So diacylglycerol also induces bronchoconstriction. Now antimuscarinics, like for example ipratropium shown here in the green color, blocks M3 receptors, M3 muscarinic receptors located on the smooth muscles of bronchioles and induce bronchodilation. Now antimuscarinics are reversible competitive inhibitors of acetylcholine at M3 receptors, and these antimuscarinics, like for example ipratropium, compete with acetylcholine for binding with muscarinic M3 receptors, thereby inhibiting acetylcholine induced contraction of bronchial smooth muscles. And this is how antimuscarinics or anticholinergics induce bronchodilation. Now talking about the adverse effects of anticholinergics or antimuscarinics, they can produce side effects like dry mouth due to reduced salivation, cough, dizziness, GI upset, headache, nervousness, nausea, rashes, urticaria, and oral irritation. So this is all about the pharmacology of antimuscarinics in brief, if you find the video helpful, kindly like, subscribe, and share this video. You can ask your questions by writing in the comment section, and it's important to note that this video is meant only for the educational purpose. Thanks for watching the video.